Hey guys, I'm Will Granshire, and this is my platform, Acuova. So I built this entire thing from scratch, and it runs my entire desk day to day as a recruiter. So let me walk you through how I built this thing today, what the actual cost looks like, how you can do it for yourself, and whatever your own day-to-day job looks like, and how to enhance it. But also a little background on myself. I've only taken one CS class in college, and I can't even say I passed it, I believe. So that should give you some insight into you can not have any prior knowledge of how to code and still be able to make this with Claude code. So let's dive into it. So 2 years ago, I could not even have made the landing page for this, but in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what steps I took to be able to come up with a full functioning CRM that has agentic features in it, and without writing a single line of code yourself, all through just prompting Claude code. And it's way cheaper than you would think. It costs probably less than your gym membership, and it only took me a month to get it out into production, and then about a month after that, I'm now starting to roll it out to other members of my team. So let's dive into how I did it all, and also the mistakes I made along the way, so you don't have to deal with those. So the 5 tools that you need for this, and they in total cost $20 a month, are Claude Code, Next.js, Vercel, Supabase, and GitHub. And so the only thing that actually costs any money when you're starting out is Claude. So you're going to need that to purchase Claude Code. You can access it from any terminal. I'm not going to go into actually how to set that up, because you can just ask Claude through the application, or better yet, there's a million other articles, videos that show that. So once you get into Claude, you want to, again, have your clear goal in mind, write it down, be able to put it on a sticky note in front of your computer, so at all times you're remembering this is what my focus is, and then begin to ask it like, hey, I'm looking to create a system where I can track potential leads for business development and be able to follow up with them in a very personable manner over email, text, and so on. Create for me a system that allows me to have my own dashboard to do so. So you can set it up through that. You could even just create an Excel sheet and have it automate it. It's very much up to you. I really encourage you to just mess around with it for a couple of hours. The best way that you'll actually learn from this is just putting in the time and effort of going about trying something new. You're not going to get any better with these AI tools if you are just looking on videos like this one to an extent. So let's dive into it. So this is Acuova. This is entirely built by me utilizing Claude Code. So as you can see on the homepage, I get an entire overview of where my current searches stand, as well as you can see some other cool features that I have through integrating your Outlook or Gmail account. So this is a demo, which unfortunately doesn't have one connected, but you would be able to click in and see, okay, who am I on call with today? Get a little snippet of their background, have it connect right to their LinkedIn, so you know who you're talking to. You can take notes easily, and just helps with just ease of everything's in one place. Also, on a per search basis, you can get an entire overview to be able to pitch candidates on a search and not have to look at multiple different areas, whether you have some market research open on a client or also a JD, all just in one nice neat place. Also, what you have is pipeline view. So you can see where a search stands for every candidate, which I think is one of the most helpful things that I've come to realize, where this was previously an Excel sheet, and so you would move and manually type where candidates stand, but now you can see in a very easy visual where everyone's at in process, but then also who you need to continue reaching out to. So it simplifies the entire candidate process for that, which I think is very neat. Also, you can click into a candidate's profile, and so you can see their work history, all of the quick little info, team notes, as well as where they're at currently in other processes. So you know if one of your colleagues is working with them on a search, but you also thought they'd be good for something that you're working on, you know who to reach out to right away for that. And so then here are some other cool little areas of the platform as well that can be helpful. A review section for any of the agentic features, automations, you can review them and approve them on your own just to make sure that it's getting the result that you want. So honest timeline for this, my first like input into Claude Code to actually being able to start utilizing this just for myself day to day was within 48 hours. And so the amount of work time actually put in during that 48 hours to this was probably around 6 to 8 hours. And so that's with having a clear goal in mind, which we can go over the steps of like how to go from just idea to building out a plan to execution. But I would say around 2 to 3 days with 2 to 3 hours of free time working on this is what it's going to take. So the main thing I want to say is you are not reviewing the code directly and you're not going line by line and making sure like, does this all like look right? You're reviewing the syntax. And so you're essentially making sure that you are staying on course correctly from prompt engineering. And so we'll dive into that, but that's what I think really separates a lot of these prompt engineers from those that are just, typical engineers. Is for prompt engineers, you really don't understand, and like, to be honest, it's humbling that like what all is going on behind the scenes. But what you need to make sure is when to course correct and have input into, okay, it's very clear to me that we have now steered off from where our target was. So we need to make sure that we get back on to the right path. One of the lessons that I learned real quickly is you need to build out an entire plan before writing a line of code. So whether this plan's even just in your head and you can have AI help you really build out the steps for it, but having a clear goal of like, okay, this is my main workflow struggle is all you need to start. And so whether that's with, I need to build a system to help me follow up with people that I've spoken with. So what does that really entail is probably an integration to whatever phone like dialer you use. So for myself, it's Ring Central. You could also do it with Apple iPhone, I believe, as well. But then seeing if Claude Cowork can do that is, pretty simple in that sense. But just having that clear goal in mind allows you to make sure that all the steps and all the prompts that you're continuing to do move towards that goal. So what you don't want is to start by saying, okay, my goal is to set up a system where every 3 days I am going back to candidates or potential business development opportunities that I've reached out to that haven't gotten back to me. And so you start with being like, okay, like this is the goal. So one of the things I realize is AI is really good at building you excessive, useless. And so what is key is making sure that when you are going about building your project or your application, whatever it may be, is that you stay on course and not have it lean into spending time on excess features or data that you don't care about. That's completely useless. It's a waste of tokens. It's a waste of your time, waste of your usage, which if you're on the $20 a month subscription is very vital. So you want to make sure that the only thing it's focused on is what you want. And if you want other ideas of features or cool things down the road, great. But the main thing that you're looking to do is complete your main official task first. And also it's a good challenge for yourself not to steer off in too many directions and focus on the one thing. All right, so let's recap real quick. So first and foremost is a platform like this, like Acuova that I've made. Can you do this? Absolutely. Without a question in my mind, if you just have a clear goal in mind, are able to stay on track, have Claude or yourself write out the action steps to execution on that, you can do it. Not even a question in my mind. It costs $20 a month as I've gone over, and that's just to get you started out. If it does turn into a bigger application that can be used by teammates, or if you look at building it for other firms and agencies and groups, you're free to do that as well, but you will have to then increase the amount of money put into the platform for security issues and also the ability to handle that much storage and usage. So take that into my account. And I actually wrote the whole playbook down. You can go down in the description right below and see for yourself what are the exact steps that I took to make Acuova. What were the prompts that I utilized? So go sign up for the email. It's a free download, costs you nothing, and it would really help me out with just understanding, is this valuable to you? I'd also love to hear what ideas you have and what you're gonna build. So it's really cool to hear all the cool things that people are building with AI nowadays. It's almost like back in Silicon Valley, like everyone talking about their new application that they have. So it can get a little bit annoying and overwhelming, but I think it's a great community to be a part of because you're always constantly getting new ideas, testing your own and figuring out, like, is what you're building actually worthwhile? The best advice that I can give anyone starting out is make sure that what you're building is actually useful, even if it's just for yourself. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to start down this path of, oh, I just want to build a really cool platform that shows me all these data points, whatnot. Like, it's a cool visual, but does it add any action or insight to you that's gonna derive action? So you need to make sure what you're building is actually useful and something that would help you in your day-to-day, whether that's in sales, marketing, in operations, in business development, whatever it may be. You need to make sure that the platform you build actually can have action items taken from it. And so that's what I'm going to leave you with today. But I really hope to see your guys' thoughts in the comments as far as what you're looking to or thinking about building. Would love to see all of your AI platforms. So feel free to link them below. And until next time.